Life in the light. Carefully determine what pleases the Lord. The greatest freedom any of us can ever possess is when we finally decide to seek to please God above anyone else. We should always live a life which pleases the Lord rather than the people who surround us. Don't live your life for the approval of others. Do not try to please others, other human beings. God put us on this earth to not only be for the praise of His glory, but to be His hands, to be His feet, to be His kindness, to be His compassion to others. Be determined to please God and enjoy the freedom to be what He has created you to be. So live a life which pleases the Lord. Have a wonderful day, my dear children. Hope you are enjoying all these video classes. How do you feel? Is it better than our classroom situation? Is the video classes better than our physical classroom session? How do you feel? I'm sure many of you will like to come to school very soon. Let's pray about it. I'm sure that God will bring us together very soon. We all need to pray every day because this corona or the COVID-19 is very threatening and it is spreading very fast. So you need to be very careful and we need the Lord's protection to save us from all these viruses. Let's keep praying, okay? I'm sure that we will meet very soon in the classroom, but we need to work really hard. You have to do your daily lessons. Some of you keep calling me to clarify your doubts. It's really nice. Some of you text me personally with your doubts. It's nice when you send a message or when you give a missed call and clarify your doubts. And most of your assignments are neatly done. I appreciate all the girls who are doing it with utmost care. Some of you really take time to do your assignments. It's really nice. It's not only completing the assignments, at the same time you must be able to learn, memorize and recall whatever we have learned in this lockdown period. Let us go on to the 4th chapter. We have already seen the 4th chapter. We have started with it. Today we will be seeing about the investment function. Investment function. You can turn with me to page number 60, 4.3. Investment function. Before getting into the details, let me say what is investment. Investment is purchasing goods and services that may not be of any use today, but will definitely be useful in the future. So investment is purchasing goods and services which we cannot use it immediately, but it will be very helpful for us in the future. So investment can be on consumer goods as well as on capital goods. Consumer goods means the goods that as consumers we start using immediately are called as consumer goods. Capital goods are machineries and buildings. Okay, investing on machinery and buildings are called as capital goods. Capital goods are very essential to produce the consumer goods. So John Maynard Keynes talks about employment. The employment in an economy depends upon the effective demand. So what is effective demand? Desire to buy, and at the same time you must also have the ability to pay for it. You must have the desire to buy and the ability to pay. So demand depends on two things. Demand depends on two elements. One is called as the consumption and the other one is called as the investment. Consumption cannot be changed in the short run. Consumption pattern of an individual will be stable. It cannot be changed in a short period. So how to change the economy or how to bring about a growth in an economy? Consumption cannot be changed in a short period. So the only option is investment. So the focus on investment is there to change the economy. So Keynes says that the demand depends upon two things. One is consumption and the other one is investment. But consumption cannot be changed in a short period. So the emphasis or the focus is given on investment. So the classical economists said that investment is a decreasing function of the rate of interest, or investment and rate of interest are varies inversely. Now turn to page number 60. So with this introduction, let us see what is given in our textbook. Investment function. So the investment function refers to the investment and interest rate relationship. Investment function refers to investment and interest rate relationship. So investment is a relationship between the rate of interest and investment. Investment function is a relationship between investment and the rate of interest. There is a functional and inverse relationship between rate of interest and investment. So there is an inverse relationship. Just imagine the demand curve that we studied in 11th standard. As price increases, demand falls. As price falls, demand increases. So there is an inverse relationship between price and demand. This is what we studied in 11th standard. So just recall that and try to link it with the investment function here. So there is an inverse relationship between rate of interest and investment. What do you understand by that? If the rate of interest increases, investment will fall. If the rate of interest falls, investment increases. So there is an inverse relationship between rate of interest and investment. So the investment function slopes downwards. The investment function slopes downwards, just like the demand curve. It slopes downwards from the left to the right. Investment function can be given as I is a function of R. I is a function of R, where I stands for investment, R is the rate of interest, and F stands for function. Here you can see that investment function, okay, here investment is dependent and rate of interest is independent variable. Investment is dependent on the rate of interest. Okay, so investment is the dependent variable and rate of interest is the independent variable. I repeat, investment is a dependent. Investment is dependent. Investment depends on rate of interest, but rate of interest is an independent variable. Rate of interest is not dependent on the investment. So I repeat, I is a function of R, where I is investment, it is a dependent variable. R is the rate of interest, which is the independent variable. F stands for function. So there are two types of investment. There are two types of investment. First one is called as the autonomous investment and the second one is called as the induced investment. So types of investment are two. First one is autonomous investment and the second one is induced investment. Autonomous investment, induced investment. So let us go on to autonomous investment. What do you mean by autonomous investment? தன்னிச்சையான முதலீடு. இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் எதை பொறுத்து இருக்கு? ஒரு ஒரு நிறுவனத்தில் நம்ம இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறோம், நல்ல ப்ராஃபிட் வருது, அது ரேட் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ரொம்ப சீப்பாக இருக்குன்னா தான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் வந்து எதை பொறுத்து இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தோம், ரேட் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டை பொறுத்து இருக்குது, இன்னொன்று ப்ராஃபிட்டை பொறுத்து இருக்குது. ஆனால் இங்கே அட்டானமஸ்ன்னு சொல்லும் போது இந்த ரேட் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டையும் பொறுத்து இல்லை அல்லது ப்ராஃபிட்டை பொறுத்தும் இல்லைன்னா தட் இஸ் ஒன்லி கால்ட் அஸ் அட்டானமஸ். ஓகே, This investment is not dependent on the rate of interest or the profit. Okay, such an investment is called as the autonomous investment. Investment which is not dependent on the national income is called as autonomous investment. This investment is not dependent on income. You put 5 crore and how much income you get, it is not dependent on the income. This is functioning separately. Okay, it is not dependent on the income, or it is not dependent on the rate of interest, or it is not dependent on the profit. So investment that is not dependent on the national income is called as autonomous investment. So who does the autonomous investment? Individuals are mostly profit oriented, but the government is welfare oriented. The government serves for the welfare of the people. So mostly autonomous investment is done by the government. So mainly done with the welfare motive, and it is not working for making profit. So the government is not working to make any profit. It is working for the welfare of the people. So autonomous investment is mostly done by the government. In what way? It can be construction of roads or bridges or schools or charitable houses, because all this is done for the welfare of the people. So this autonomous investment is not affected by the rise in the raw materials or wages of the workers. It is not affected by the rise in the price of the raw materials or the wages of the workers. So essentially, it is done for the development of the nation and to bring out the nation out of depression. So autonomous investment is mainly done to develop the nation or to bring out the nation out of depression. Autonomous curve or the autonomous investment curve is horizontal and parallel to the x-axis. So here in this graph, on the x-axis they have marked the income, and on the y-axis they have marked the investment. This is called as the autonomous investment curve, IA, autonomous investment curve. So autonomous investment curve is a horizontal line which is parallel to the x-axis. In the one word, they might ask this question. The autonomous investment curve. The autonomous investment curve is a horizontal line parallel to the x-axis. So what do you understand from this diagram? Autonomous investment is income inelastic. Irrespective of the income, there is investment. So income, they do not consider the income here. It is functioning independent of income, profit or rate of interest. The investment is working on its own. Such an investment is called as autonomous investment. So the autonomous investment curve is income inelastic. It is income inelastic. Let us go on to the induced investment. What do you mean by induced investment? Induce. You have to do something to make people invest. That is only called as induced investment. Now, how does a teacher induce the children in studying or doing the assignment? By giving a star or by giving you some incentive. I make you do the assignment. When I correct the assignment papers, I give a neat, a good, or a medal or a cup. So it is a inducement. I induce so that everybody wants to finish the assignment and get a medal or a star from the teacher. So likewise, an investment which is achieved through inducement is called as induced investment. So induced investment is the expenditure on fixed assets and stocks which are required when level of income and demand in an economy goes up. So whenever there is an increase in the demand, when there is an increase in the demand, what happens? There will be an increase in the production. When there is an increase in the production, there will be increase in the profit. So this induces the entrepreneurs to invest more and more. So this type of investment is called as induced investment. Okay, induced investment is profit motivated. It is related to the changes in the national income. So the relationship between the national income and the induced investment is positive. So whenever the national income investment increases, the national income also increases. So there is a positive relationship between the national income and induced investment. So if there is a decrease in the national income, automatically the investment will also decrease. So what relationship is there between the national income and investment? There is a positive relationship. That's why the induced investment curve slopes upwards from the left to the right. It is like the supply curve which we studied in the standard 11. It is a positive sloping curve or it is an upward sloping curve. That means as the GNP increases, the investment also increases. If GNP is 1, investment is 1. If GNP is 2, investment is 2. If the GNP is 3, investment is also 3. So there is a positive relationship. As GNP increases, investment also increases. So it is related to changes of national income. Induced investment is income elastic. So here we saw it is income inelastic. Here it is income elastic. So induced investment is positively sloped. That's why it slopes upward. It is positively sloped. Here autonomous curve is a horizontal line parallel to the x-axis. So let us see the difference between AI, autonomous investment, and II, induced investment. So the difference between autonomous investment and induced investment. It is very often asked in 3 marks questions, 2 or 3 marks question. So you have 3 differences, autonomous investment and induced investment. When you write the heading, you have to be very careful. Some of you juggle this. You write induced here and autonomous here and everything goes wrong. So A comes first, autonomous, then only I. Alphabetically, A comes first. So you're writing autonomous investment first and then the induced investment. Okay. So autonomous investment is independent. It is independent. It does not depend upon anything. It does not depend upon the rate of interest or the profit or the national income. It is independent. Induced investment is planned because you get profit. You are investing. It is planned. Autonomous investment is income elastic. Already we saw that. It is income elastic. Induced investment is income elastic. Then autonomous is mostly done by the government in order to improve the economy or to bring the economy from depression to a recovery stage or to a boom stage. So it is essentially done for a country's development and to bring out a country out of depression. So it is welfare motivated. Here, induced investment is profit motivated. So the difference between autonomous investment and induced investment: 1, independent, it is planned. 2, income inelastic, it is income elastic. 3, welfare motive, it is profit motive. We'll stop with this and I will continue after some time.